Hey everybody, welcome back. My name is Rick Betancourt and I am the president of the Florida Writers Association, and glad y'all could join us this afternoon. Today, or right now, we have with us Gary Zieger. Is that how you say your last name? Zieger?
Rhymes with tiger.
Rhymes with tiger. Zieger Tiger. So I'm happy to have Gary here with us. Gary he grew up in Delmar, New York, and got hooked on science fiction watching Star Trek, the original series, at a very young age. And then he took up a letter writing campaign to the network studio and to his local TV station, pleading with them not to cancel Star Trek. So he is a Star Trek fan, and he's got some really cool books. If you go onto the Florida Writers Book Expo and go over to the authors, you'll see his books over there called Stingray, You Can't Hide Forever, and then there's Stingray Prophecy. And you can also download the first chapter of Stingray, You Can't Hide Forever and get a sample of his writing. Excellent. So welcome, Gary.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Yeah. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, thanks.
Good. So I'm glad you were able to join us. We did have a little bit of technical difficulties, folks, so I apologize for the delay, but we're getting better at it, or I should say I'm getting better at it. So Gary, tell us a little bit about your journey with writing and what got you. We know you're into Star Trek, so what got you hooked on writing your novels?
Well, actually, growing up as a kid, of course, I loved the science fiction, the Star Trek, Battlestar Galactica, the original one, Buck Rogers, the one in black and white. I think I just dated myself. So the Gil Gerard one was kind of cute. Lost in Space and Starship 1999 or Space 1999. And but the funny part was in high school and college, I hated writing. I couldn't stand it. They gave me a writing assignment. I was like, no, please. And then, of course, you grow up and you get into business and you have to write and you have to do stuff. And I don't know, probably my first book came out in 2011. So probably, I don't know, 5 or 6 years before that, I came up with this story in my head and, I was just daydreaming and stuff. And as the gray hairs popped out, so did the story. And I said, well, I better get it written down. Otherwise, I'm not going to remember it. So that's kind of how my writing started for this. And then my second book came out in 2018. And there's a huge 7-year gap because in 2011, in the fall, when the first one came out, my granddaughter was born earlier that year. And so the next year in 2012, my grandson was born. So, priorities, they call him and say, Grandpa, I want to come play, just as I'm getting ready to start writing. It's like, well, okay, come on.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So you got the 2 books.
I have 2 books out, correct, both on print, ebook, and audio. And the third book is percolating and being outlined and such right now.
And is it the same? Is it all part of the same series?
Yes, it will be Stingray Power is actually the name of it. And it will continue along the journey. This one is actually a little bit more, I'm having a little bit of fun writing this one. So I don't have a cover yet.
Yeah.
You get writer's block. Well, I've got cover block right now. I'm not exactly sure. I got so many ideas in my head. I got to sit down with my graphic artist and see, let him figure it out.
Cool. So tell me a little bit about your writing process and how you do you outline your books, or how do you go about starting your books?
So the first book was basically I opened up Microsoft Word and vomited into it. And that was my writing process. I had to get it out of my head as fast as I could. And then I went back and I tweaked and edited and such like that.
Yeah.
For the second book, I discovered a program called Scrivener, which forces you to do some outlining. And I liked it I kind of like that because with that 7-year gap, I had all these thoughts and random things, and my memory is not as good as it used to be. So if I don't write it down, I'm going to forget it. So I really like it, and it doesn't, any program like that you can just put your stuff in and let the outline form, and then from there I can just massage it. So I'm really liking that format now. I mean, it's not a formal outline, process where you have your title, synopsis, and all that other stuff.
Yeah.
All that information's there, but it's just kind of more informal.
Yeah.
It forces you to keep it tidy.
Yep. Yeah. I've used Scrivener a little bit. I tend to use Word more often than not. But I like the benefits of Scrivener, and I think, to your point, there's some really good aspects of it. Like you can have character bios and just like a whole separate section. And
well, yeah, I mean, because that really worked for me. I'm a techie by heart. That's my profession. Been in technology for over 30 years. So you go back to the point of the bio. I don't remember what this particular character wears. I mean, so I had to go back and look. So I needed some sort of repository to keep all my characters, all my weapons, all my locations and such, so that I can, because I do reference some of that back and forth. So I'm like, okay, is this correct? So instead of thumbing through the book and look, okay, on page 106, there it is. I can go back and just look and say, okay, it was, he was born on Cryon. Okay, good.
Yeah, instead of doing all these find and searching in your books. Definitely.
Yeah. I'm a stickler for canon. I really try to keep it. I pay a lot of attention to it. So
nice. So what are some of your other hobbies, and outside of you mentioned family? Obviously, family's important. What are some of your other hobbies outside of writing?
Oh, good Lord. So I like to kayak. I used to rock climb. I can't do that anymore due to some health issues, but that was fun. We do a lot of home office improvements. So when COVID hit, being in IT, they sent us all home.
Yeah.
So we thought it would be for a little bit, but it turns out that it's a permanent thing now. So I'm in the process, you can see in the background, renovating my office,
There you go.
the room in my office. The painting is done, the shelves, hopefully I'll get that done this weekend, and the flooring goes down. And watch for the video. There will be a before and after, HGTV worthy video.
There we go. You get to see Gary's new office. It's funny. I know I did the same thing. Home office, working from home. Lots of changes this last couple of years. So, what would you say your biggest challenge is as being an author?
My biggest challenge is marketing the book and selling it. I'm like I said, I'm a techie. I'm not a salesperson.
Yeah.
I just, I'll go. I love doing shows. They're fun. I have a whole bunch booked the rest of this year. Last year was non-existent.
True.
But this year I have quite a few, and I do enjoy it, interacting with folks that come up to the table and just wandering around. Yeah. But it's just that it's the whole marketing thing. Yeah. That's my biggest challenge. I'm sure it's pretty much every author's challenge.
Yeah, it tends to be a common theme we hear. What advice would you give for somebody who might be starting out writing or wanting to start as a novel?
Well, first of all, read. I mean, because you need that. I really think you need that experience, whether it's life experience or other authors' experience, or just even and not necessarily read your own genre. I mean, I'm a big fan of Clive Cussler and Dale Brown, which is anything but science fiction. Well, okay, some of that could be construed as science fiction, but it's more adventure. And so, that right there, and just and journal it, because like I said, I really like the outlining. Put your thoughts down, because once you put them down on paper, you can see them. I'm a visual person, so again, the thing that software appeals to me is they have the corkboard where you can put notes up and different chapters. And for me, that's works. I mean, it doesn't work for everybody, but
Yeah.
so I think that's probably what I would do, and just be persistent, make time for it. It's in this, I know in this crazy, hectic schedule, it's very, very difficult. And
Yeah.
I find that too. I have a lot of challenges with against my time. So
Yeah. So when do you write? Are you more of a morning writer or evening writer or whatever whatever you can find time?
whenever I can find time, because I work full time and being in, I work in the healthcare arena, so we've been extremely busy with the
Sure.
COVID situation, even the IT area. So
Yeah.
I've been evenings is usually or on a weekend. A lot of times we'll go camping. We take the RV out, and I'll just sit down for a little bit while my wife's doing something and try to write. I find it difficult to do small pieces. I need a block of time. Just leave me alone and let me write, because I could get into it. I could start it, after dinner at 7:30, and my wife will get up at 2 to go to the bathroom, and she'll come out in the living room and say, "Why are you still here?" I'm like, "Why? It's only like what, 10 or 11?" "No, it's 2 in the morning."
You're like, oh no, I gotta get up for work in the morning.
I know, in 4 hours. Holy cow! So yeah.
Yeah, it can be a challenge when you're working full time and you're writing and trying
But I
to.
get on a roll, and I just don't want to stop because I'm afraid I'm going to lose that momentum.
Yeah, you get into momentum and you want to keep it going. You get into that zone.
Hmm.
Nice, nice. It's interesting that you mentioned reading and how important that is. I was talking to NL Holmes earlier this morning, and she, like yourself, have like to read a lot of different genres, and I think that's so important. And it's important to read to know your own genre for of course, but there's so many different aspects you can take from reading other genres as well.
Well, yeah, I mean, like my main character is based on, obviously he's influenced by Star Trek, Captain Kirk, but he's got a little Indiana Jones in him. He has a little bit of Patrick McClarahan from Dale Brown's series, a little bit of Dirk Pitt from Clive Cussler. Just those attitudes and such like that.
Yeah,
And I think that's what I mean, I had a lot of fun writing the opening for this next book because I'm taking him. He's totally out of that character. He is just whimsical. He's all over the board, and not a care in the world. And in the first opening of Power, and so it's really important because you can draw. You need stuff to draw on, whether it's from real life or from other characters and other books.
yeah, yeah. It is. What do you think people will like about your books?
Well, they're either going to love or hate the fact that I'm a little bit technical in it. Now, when I say technical, I don't mean that I explain the technical. So it's not like that's all you hear. So like I created and You Can't Hide Forever. I created a whole new drive propulsion system called the wave drive, and I have this formula that I laid out. And if the mathematicians out there actually work the formula, it actually will work the way I said the wave drive will run. So it's that kind of stuff. I think I've had a lot of people comment say that's pretty cool. I mean, I didn't understand it. But I understood it. It's
Yeah,
kind of a thing, And I try to detail it out, I guess, and make it not too many assumptions, but when I want you to assume things, you assume it and you let your mind work on it. But there are certain things that, I try to, like I said, I try to stick to canon and I try to make it believable. Now, it's science fiction. So, yeah, there's certain things in there that we don't have. There's
sure.
certain speculations, but they're believable, I think. And I've vetted a lot of it with experts. So,
Yeah, interesting. So wave drive, is that what you call it?
that's what I call it.
Okay. And what is wave drive? Explain it to us
It
non.
is how did I explain it? It's a quantum. So it's basically a quantum bubble it bubble forms around the ship and it squeezes it and it jumps. You basically jump from point to point. So it's a rapid bubble that just keeps wave. It's like a wave. You're riding a wave.
Okay.
But the wave is so big that it takes you, parsecs at a time, and you go pretty doggone fast.
Ah, okay. So sort of like warp speed, but not quite.
Yeah.
Awesome.
She's riding the wave.
Awesome. Oh, that's awesome. So what else is so we talked about reading in your writing process. Obviously Star Trek is an influence. What about like other forms of media? Do you get inspiration from certain films or podcasts or
Um,
areas?
I think the inspiration, from films, and I don't listen to a lot of podcasts. I don't have a drive-in anymore, so
That's true, right? Yeah,
now I have to make time to listen to a podcast. So I don't really listen to a lot of podcasts, but I do watch a fair bit of movies. I tend toward the sci-fi, fantasy stuff. I'm not a big critical person when it comes to films. I look at it as entertainment. So if it entertained me, it was a success. I don't care how realistic it was. I'll look at stuff, especially, that's preposterous. But it was fun. The whole movie was fun. I like adventure movies. I'm a regular fan of the NCIS series that's kind of an influence. Indiana Jones movies, all of those. Star Trek, Star Wars, Battlestar, all that stuff. Charmed. I watch some of that because it's fantasy and it's lighthearted and it's fun.
Yeah. So Stingray, what was the Stingray Powers? Is that the next?
Correct. Yes.
What is your plans on that? Do you have a date you're set to get that out?
Oh, I gave up making dates a long time ago. As soon as possible.
When it's done.
Preferably not a 7-year gap.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm hoping. I really would like to get it out in the next year or two.
Yeah, definitely. I know it takes sometimes when you're working and you're writing and trying to fit it all in and schedule it.
Yeah, I'm hoping once this reno is done, I'll have a spot to really sit down and do it, and not in the living room where everybody's the hustle and bustle going on. So
yeah, too funny. And I see I'm looking at your picture, and you have two very cute looking dogs.
Yeah, the smaller one is Napoleon. He is a Jack Russell. Unfortunately, he passed away in December.
I'm sorry.
The bigger one is a Wheaton Terrier. His name is Apache. He's our ADHD dog. He's very distractible. Squirrel, bird. Oh wait, a leaf just fell. Hang on.
I know, right? Oh my God, dogs can be so much fun. I have a West Highland Terrier, so that sort of terrier breed can be quite fun. Awesome. So speaking of fun, what's most fun for you to write about? What parts of your books are the most fun part, and I guess to the contrary, what's the hardest part of parts of the book that can be the hardest for you to write?
Hardest part's dialogue and trying to keep everybody straight.
Really?
I have a hard enough time keeping myself straight, let alone 6 other characters. So I think that's probably the hardest. The more fun, is that a word? More fun, funner? I think is when I get into some of that technical stuff and just trying to explain it. Because I like that, and I'm trying to share, some of what I know and what I hope will happen in the future in a technical sense with people who don't understand it. But I think the most fun I've had so far with the book series is as I alluded to earlier, is the opening of Power, where I don't want to give away spoilers as to why it's happening, but my main character, Captain Epsilon, he is not his normal character, and it's just different, and it was fun writing. And I still have some tweaking. It's not fully finished, but
Yeah.
it was fun writing that because it's a total departure, and I could do whatever I wanted, not have to worry about is his dialogue right, because it isn't, and that's the point. So that's, and his actions, is he acting the way he should? Well, no, but that's the point. So that was fun.
Cool. So Gary, where can we get your books? Are you on Amazon or all over the place?
I'm wide. Amazon, Audible, audiobooks.com.
Do you have an audiobook?
Yep, I have. I got lucky, and I actually produced it myself. I got an actor out of Hollywood, voiceover actor. He did 60 voices in You Can't Hide Forever and 62 voices in Prophecy. And now I'm counting characters because I'm going for 65 in Power just to challenge him.
Wow.
But so he performed. I don't consider it a narration. He performed. It's a performance, and you can tell in there. If you go to my website, GaryZeiger.com, and click on books, you can listen to excerpts from both of them.
Awesome. So GaryZeiger.com.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and there's links. They'll take you over to you can get it Amazon, Kobo, all over.
Excellent. And we also have the links on your booth in the Florida Writers Book Expo, so people should check it out. Gary, it's been a pleasure talking to you this morning or this afternoon. Yeah, so people can check out Gary Zieger at GaryZeiger.com. Also check us out on his booth and get his books. Awesome. All right, Gary. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure talking with you.
Have a great day.
Okay, take care. Bye-bye.